When you first take control of your character in Crow Country, you are bombarded with nostalgia. The dusty grain covering every screen of this game, the blockiness of my model, the sounds of my own footsteps, that first gunshot fired. For lack of a better expression, it's tickling the good side of my brain. Full disclosure, I received a creator code for this around 2 weeks before the game came out, but I'm not paid to talk about it. All my opinions here are my own, I've not been bribed for a good review. That being said, SFB Games, you're going to get a good review, and you're going to damn well like it. Look at this! Look at this! FF7 and RE1 have had a modern baby, and it is customizable. The amount of options for how you play this game, how difficult it is, genuinely brilliant. Do you want to shoot things or not? If so, how do you want to shoot them? With a modern control scheme where fire is on the triggers, or more classic with the face buttons? How do you want to get to those encounters? Use the control stick as one would expect with any current third-person game? Or are you clamoring for those clunky tank controls you became intimate with to get through Raccoon City 25 years ago? Do you want to scavenge? Only using what limited resources you can find, picking and choosing the biggest threats to take out, and when you're out of ammo and medkits, having your choices be run or die? Or do you hate vending machines? Vending machines that will always allow you to restock the bare minimum equipment you need to survive? Or do you go down the middle? Your car has handgun ammo in the back, which you can only get when you're close to running out, but no health. Accessibility, difficulty, this game is not challenging to beat, but it could be if that's what you want it to be. Let's talk about the narrative, and I'm gonna talk about it as if you didn't read the description for it on Steam, because I didn't, and I'm very important. You hit the new game button, the year is 1990, you're told your character's name, boom, you're there. But where? But why? Work it out yourself, dum-dum. It really doesn't take that long to get your overall objective. It's literally on the front of your car. Edward Crow, the owner of Crow Country, is missing, but you had to find that out. Hello, Mr. Crow. I'm looking for your boss. You're useless. You have to find out everything. Documents across the map, notes from the former employees of the theme park. The fact it is a theme park, a closed one, shut for several years. Exploration isn't just a big part of the game, it is the bloody game, and trust me, there's blood everywhere. In the bathroom, in the parking lot, in the hallway, in the mansion, there's Dracula. That's what you get for trying to scare me. The map is split up into sections. The spooky side is different to the backstage area, which is different to under the ocean. Guess which one you can almost drown in? You're wrong. I loved walking into each area, not knowing what was going to be on the other side of each loading screen. Whether it was a restaurant, a dungeon, a theater, or the safe room where comforting music fills the air. You stare into the fire and don't know if everything is going to be okay, but it's certainly going to be something. And you are going between these areas. Your progression is an X zone, Y zone, no. It's do something here, do something there, unlock over here, and find something that makes something you found 2 hours ago make sense. There is backtracking, and that could be terrifying because historically, games like this, there's doors that every single time, but in Crow Country, it's no issue. The map is so contained, every area distinct, and you will learn your way around it pretty damn well and get there even faster. Then halfway through the game, you get the running shoes. You're quicker, you're squeakier. Like, you should oil these shoes and you can put them back if you don't want them. That's another difficulty option to add onto the pile. Also, I realize I forgot to mention it now. You also don't have to pick up the maps. It is an intentional decision not to pick up the maps. I didn't get the map for this area because I chose not to. Not because I didn't realize it was there until like 3 minutes before turning off the game. Be quiet. Now the puzzles in this game? I had a pleasant time. Most of these aren't game-changing, but they're fun, working out what to do. Some doors you need a key, some you need a flamethrower, and in that second case, there's a clue around the map telling you all about it. There is one puzzle, though, that is so unbelievably cool I want to highlight, though. I won't spoil the solution, but here's a timestamp to avoid the concept. May I have your attention, because now it's time for the Mermaid Quiz! How many planets are in the solar system. If you said 8, that is incorrect. What is wrong with you? You fucking moron! And the reason that's false is because if you remember, this game takes place in 1990, where Pluto, that barky bastard, hadn't had its title stripped away. You are answering questions with what would have been true back in the 90s, and that is just wonderful. I solved your stupid puzzle! Be honest, you loved it. Yeah, there's secrets to find if you go out of your way to. Stuff like the squeaky shoes, which have the additional effect of speed, new weapons like the shotgun, which does more than the handgun, and the magnum, which just kills anything, upgrades for each weapon, like having a bigger ammo capacity for the shotgun, or the magnum. You know what? You can find that one out yourself. You may think I'm exaggerating, but the Magnum really is just the best gun in the game. So much so that ammo for it is quite literally considered a secret in and of itself. You can't find it out and about. Oh yeah? Well, watch this then. Ah! This is something you're warned about 2 hours prior. What happened to me was I was so unbelievably cautious when I learnt about explosive traps that never showed up. I took my time thinking about if something was safe or not, and they always were. So I forgot about that note until I walk into this corridor. I see ammo that looks vaguely similar to a type of ammo I'd only gotten once before, mash through the dialogue, and kaboom! I look like the kind of guy who thinks there's only 8 planets in our solar system. You got me! And if I wasn't already, I was going to be so observant of my surroundings to never let this happen again. Starting from now. The most dangerous trap for sure, though, is the very first bear trap. Not because I didn't see it, I was just curious as to what would happen. The answer was painful. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway because I like the sound of my own voice. What you should be more careful of are the guests of Crow Country. What you see first in photos will eventually end up in your way, and you need to be prepared. And they're a little goofy. They're threatening, sure, but the enemies aren't scary. It's the build-up to them where horror can fester. When you walk into an area you've already been in and you hear bones rattling, you know something is here that wasn't before. It's just a matter of finding it. Or it finding you. I'm not going to linger on this too much because I'd rather you see the designs of the enemies for yourself, but the monsters you come across all look great. The entire game looks great in case you haven't noticed, and presentation is where horror comes out in full effect. I am not nearly as scared by the most grotesque creature you can imagine as I am noticing the security camera from the moment you pull up to the abandoned theme park is tracking your every move. You can play a loud, scary noise in my face, but I'm much more invested seeing a monster on a screen that once I solve the puzzle of the room, it disappears from frame. I wonder where it's going. There's one final thing I need to talk about, but it doesn't show up until the final 30 minutes of the game. It is something that I've never seen any other video game do better, but considering what it is and when it is, here's a timestamp to avoid spoiling it because in the simplest terms, holy shit. You have until the end of this sentence to skip this, so if you don't want to know, you best be gone right now, boy! At this point in the game, day has turned to night, and you're going to fix Mr. Crow. You've almost gotten all the clues as to what's transpired at this place. Who was involved, and you're close to the truth. Too close. I have never felt stalked in a video game before. I've played games with stalker enemies like Mr. X, but they felt just like that. Enemies. I could see them, perceive them, understand what I'm looking at, but this isn't like that. I ran to the end of the path and no one was there. There was no sign anyone was there, so did I imagine it? I had one last thing to do before the ending, so I went on my way, but I had to know if I was making that up, so I stood still for a second. The way my heart leapt out of my chest. There's a threat, and unlike everything else, it's human, and that feeling is going to stick with me forever and ever. Crow Country is an atmospheric dream. The vibes of this game are immaculate, both in a builds tension kind of way and eventually a comforting one. In one instance, I did get stuck in a corner and couldn't get out, which was a little upsetting, but apart from that, after a while, I found myself relaxed traversing this place. So much so, I did it in basically one sitting, and I can't wait to go back. I didn't do absolutely everything. I missed one secret because I don't understand this octopus. I'm missing a couple achievements, so I have an excuse to play this game again in the future, but I don't need any incentive. Crow Country is the incentive. I mean, if a horror title has a second shaking wooden crate when the last one turned out to be very evil and I have a flamethrower, I'm going to use it. When it's then revealed that there is an alive woman inside, I'm going to laugh for 30 seconds straight. I will never forget this experience.
SoopLexi.
Opening this door was the puzzle that took me the absolute longest of about 3 hours. The code was 1234. I felt like a buffoon.